Hi everyone, Vanessa here and welcome back to Passport Pages. And those of you who are familiar with my channel know how I believe that an all-inclusive vacation has the potential to be your best vacation ever, with endless food, drinks, and activities all available without having to worry about money once you arrive, right? Well, not necessarily. While yes, not having to budget is great, sometimes you'll have other issues involved with all-inclusive stays that you'll need to plan for. But don't worry, as always, I've got you covered with all of my best all-inclusive resort tips and tricks, so you guys will be as prepared as possible for every possible scenario. So let's get you ready. Check dress code. So you begin planning for contingencies before you leave home by checking for the all-inclusive's dress code and then packing accordingly. Many resorts require certain attire to be worn at dinner, so specifically for ladies, I recommend a few beachy dresses. You won't necessarily need them for every single dinner, so a few will do. And for men, you may need long pants, a button-up shirt, and closed-toe shoes. Some require jacket and tie, but that's few and far between. I will be honest, I've seen some resorts that have pretty strict dress codes spelled out on their websites, but then when you get to the resort, no one seems to adhere to them, and the resort managers don't seem to care. But I always say, better safe than sorry. I have heard stories about guests who were not seated because they weren't dressed according to the code, so just check the site before you pack so that doesn't happen to you. Assess the dining situation. So this is a big one that I get asked about a lot, reservations or no reservations, because if there's one thing that can ruin an all-inclusive vacation, it's not being able to eat a nice dinner at one of the many restaurants your resort has to offer. And all resorts have different policies regarding reservations, so check what the policy is, specifically whether you do it before your arrival or at the front desk at check-in with the concierge. I have stayed at all-inclusives where you can pre-book dinners for the entire week, and others that require you to book on the same day. And our most recent resort didn't require reservations at all, which I loved, but usually in those dining options that don't require reservations, you usually have to wait anywhere from 30 minutes to over an hour. So regardless, you'll definitely need to plan ahead. Also, at some resorts, you'll have a number of dining options to choose from throughout the day, but you might only be allowed to eat in some of them once. Or they may have premium restaurants, but they're included with an upcharge you'll have to pay extra for. So my tip is just plan and know what you're getting into so you can enjoy a nice dinner without the stress. Read the fine print. Not every all-inclusive is created equal, so you should always know before you go. And while it can be a great deal, if you don't know what you're getting for your money, costs can add up really quickly. So look for resorts that are truly all-inclusive. I like to look for a resort with a good activity schedule, with things like kayaking and paddleboarding during the day, and shows at night, making sure that these activities are included at no extra charge. But even more importantly is to check about food and drink. So this might seem unnecessary since all-inclusive means your food and drink is included, right? But let's say you want a special bottle of wine at dinner, or want to indulge in some lobster or filet mignon. Some resorts will charge extra for that. So before you jump in and make that order, make sure it's included, because you don't want to be checking out to a $500 bill because you went crazy at dinner. Budget for extra fees. But let's say you do decide to be impulsive and splurge on top-shelf liquor that wasn't included, or scuba lessons that went beyond the brief introductory course in the pool. It will really help if you can pay the bill before you leave the all-inclusive. So I advise to budget for an extra $200, specifically for any extra fees that you might incur during your stay. And quite frankly, most resorts will make you pay before checkout, so it's best to leave without any charges. So budget for a couple $100s in extras. That way you won't stress or worry if you do want to indulge here and there, because that's what vacation is all about, right? Ask questions at check-in, and I'm referring to very specific ones. I already mentioned asking about dining reservations if their policy is to do so at check-in, but also be sure to ask for an activity schedule. They usually have a hard copy for the week's activities at the front desk they can give you, or they'll explain what activities they're having, so make sure you do that so you don't miss out. I also encourage you guys to ask about upgrades, because depending on what time of year you're visiting, they could have plenty of empty rooms, and you could get bumped to a bigger one or one with a better view for a small fee. Our last trip, we didn't even have to ask, they just offer, so even better. But always ask, because you never know when you'll get lucky. And when they offer, ask what the options and benefits are of moving up, because some upgrades come with extra perks, like access to special areas of the resort, like the lounges, and even private pools and beaches. So there you have a few questions I like to ask at check-in, and I'm sure the staff will be more than happy to help you guys with any additional questions you might have. Claim your spot. So this is something that a lot of guests frown upon or just don't want to be reminded of, but it's a reality for most resorts, but especially all-inclusives, which draw big crowds. You need to plan ahead and grab your spot at the pool or beach first thing in the morning. Many guests wake up, go to breakfast, and then head out to the pool or beach and are shocked to find that every single lounger is taken. So if you're like me and like your shade, this is really crucial, especially if you're looking for a palapa on the beach. I personally like to get up, set up my spot on the beach, and then step away for breakfast. Now, I have no problem with people claiming a spot. I just said I do it myself. However, don't be that person that claims 5 spots and then leaves for hours. That's not right, and sadly, it happens a lot. So you can be strategic and proactive without being inconsiderate of other guests. Keep valuables at home. And this is for more than the obvious reasons. Yes, valuables might get stolen, so many women feel more comfortable bringing costume jewelry while traveling. But you might also lose your jewelry and expensive sunglasses. My husband had a pair fall off while swimming in the ocean, and the water can be very murky, so good luck trying to find them. Or you might bring a really expensive camera with you to some off-site excursions and misplace it. This has been a big concern for us as we now travel with a lot of filming equipment, so you can't always avoid it, but if it's an option for you and you can swap the valuable stuff for less expensive substitutes, definitely do it, because nothing will ruin even the best vacation like losing something valuable or irreplaceable. Believe me, been there, so just leave it at home. Beware of the timeshare trap. Some all-inclusive resorts use vacationing guests as an excuse to test their marketing skills and presentations to sell you a timeshare. And even shadier, beware, because some even put contingencies on certain activities and extras with the condition that you have to attend a timeshare presentation first before you can participate. And these can last for hours. So even if you don't get lured into signing up for anything, you're still using valuable time. And considering how short your stay is, you don't want to waste 2 hours of valuable beach or pool time sitting indoors listening to a pitch for a timeshare that you have no interest in. Now, most all-inclusives won't tell you up front if they have salespeople on site and if that will be part of the all-inclusive experience. So I usually check TripAdvisor, where, believe me, you'll get honest feedback, especially regarding timeshare traps. Previous guests will sound the alarm, so I've found that's a good way to know if I should steer clear of an all-inclusive, or at the very least, to know what to expect while you're staying there. Bring your medicine cabinet. Another one that I definitely learned the hard way. There are many things that can happen. You might cut your foot or get too much sun, and you'll be very happy that you packed a first aid kit with aspirin, band-aids, and a lot of sunscreen. You'll be surprised how quickly you go through it, and even more surprised if you have to buy it at the resort, where it can be triple what it would be if you bought it back home. So packing a first aid kit might seem like overkill, but lately we've been much more prepared, and it's such a relief. Do not rely on the all-inclusive staff for these things. These are big resorts, and many times they don't have enough to go around, or they don't restock that frequently, so just save yourself the headache, literally and figuratively, and bring your own. So there you have some of my best all-inclusive tips and tricks that I've had to learn through experience, and I'm sure I'll have more to share with you in the future, so stay tuned. If you've learned any helpful tips and tricks of your own, please share them with us, and I'd really appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for video notifications. This is Vanessa thanking you for watching Passport Pages, and I hope to see you all with lots of new travel tips, tricks, and reviews very soon. Bye everyone!